I had a lot of challenges during that time. Both
Yeah.
my parents died 10 months apart. And I think that was another trauma for Lyle because they were lived a mile away from us and were second parents to Lyle and Sally. My husband and I, he passed away on the week before last Christmas. But we separated in 2005, so Lyle was 14 then. I had full legal and physical custody of my daughters, so I was raising them pretty much on my own. And I was getting sicker, even though I was going to Al Anon and had a sponsor, I was getting sicker by the moment because the shit was hitting the fan and I didn't know how to manage and try to rescue, control, save, make my family okay, and get my own oxygen from coming out of a really challenging marriage. And so, yes, today I look back and I know I did the very best that I could, and I don't have regrets. I just look back and think, what could have been in place that would have helped this situation?
And it's, and I just love that I see Lyle, acknowledging the work you did do and how much you did try. And I'm sitting here and the weight of all of that is heavy on me. The parents dying, the husband in active addiction, the juvenile diabetes, increasing and the effects of it increasing, and the daughter now. It seems like a lot of shit hitting a lot of fans. I don't know where I'd put it. I don't know. I don't know where I would put the mop. Really. And so I'm interested to find out what's the answer to that question when you say what could have been in place.
Boundaries.
Ah.
Boundaries. It's very simple. My dad used to always say, if something has to give, don't let it be you. But I didn't know how to take care of myself in a way that would have allowed me to set healthy boundaries in spite of what other people thought. And so what that would have looked like for us is for us to have less friends over all the time, family dinners, boundaries around where Lyle was at and going and calling parents and making sure that places were safe. Unfortunately, Lyle was very, very good at manipulating. And so there were a lot of the nights that she's talking about being in Compton with her boyfriend dealer, I really didn't know about because she waited until I went to bed and then left home and got home at like 5 a.m. before I woke up. So unless I got up and went into her room to check on her, I wouldn't have known that she was gone. And she unfortunately had this great bedroom downstairs. Our house was on a slope, and there was a door to the outside in the room next to her bedroom, so she could really sneak out of our home.
You also really had no reason to question me because we had developed such a strong relationship with trust, and until it got rocky, you trusted me.
I did trust her. Weird things were happening. For instance, there was a black BMW parked outside our house for months, and it always seemed to move on street cleaning days. And I kept asking the girls, like, I wonder whose BMW that is. That's so odd that that's outside our house. Well, it had been parked there from, I guess it was a carjacking.
It was a stolen car.
It was a stolen car.
Of course it was.
Yeah,
And
obviously.
Of course it was. How could you not have thought that?
Obviously.
And then I was in the house one day, and it literally felt like guns were shooting at the house. It was this very, very loud bop, 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 bop. And I walked outside the front door, and there must have been 1,000 eggs that hit the front of our house. So things like that started to happen. And at that time, I know that her boyfriend dealer was threatening to kill me and Sally if she left him, which is why she couldn't leave him.
Yeah, these are dark days, but what I hear is survival. Everyone's trying to survive, and one of the things that when I work with young athletes, one of the things I train on the mental conditioning side is process. Control what you can control, focus on process, and do simple better. And I think it's amazing to me to hear what you talked about that you think can shape changes as you look back for people, which is simple things. Trust but verify. Call. No, your daughter's not going to want you calling the Simpsons to verify that she's going there because she doesn't want. But call. Have family dinner. Do these simple things that you can control. We still don't know whether that would have changed the outcome or not, but we know that the right thing to do, and that they're not complicated. And in chaos, if you can find, I just so appreciate you sharing, because they're not complex. Family dinner, verifying where my child is, some of the other things that you talked about that you would have done, but just do them and do them consistently. Will they change the outcome? I don't know, but they are the right thing to do. In a mixed chaos, there are certain things you can do, and that's really all we can really help people do, isn't it? Is just focus on the things that we can do.
And until things got really bad, it was difficult because my daughter was a straight A student, and so there were things about Lyle's life that, like, she walked on water for a long time as far as I was concerned. And but when things really went down, the one thing that I am so happy I did was, I call it the exorcism. When the shit hit the fan and I found the drugs in her car and took them to a lab, and like now the truth was revealed. And I had so much anger because I was worried and had been talking to Lyle's late father, and it was, I think she's doing meth, she's picking. I saw these signs. I knew something was going on, but I couldn't catch her. And my sponsor kept saying, you need to drug test her. And I was like, oh, drug test her, but then she'll think I don't trust her. Well, oh my God, like, how silly is that? But, so you do the best you can. But I remember sitting in the living room, and I think Lyle had relapsed after our initial, she was very close to graduation, and then we know you need help, we're going to get you help, blah, blah, blah. And I was so happy because when I got everything tested, all the paraphernalia and everything else, it only showed for coke. And I was like, oh, thank God there's no meth, because I was sure she had been using meth. And only shows you again, it's like my ability to deny the truth is so much in the front seat. But the night that I really felt like, okay, the devil is now living with us, when Lyle relapsed, I don't know what happened to me. I had like this out-of-body experience that I was done. I couldn't live this way. I couldn't live in my fear. I couldn't live in my anger. I was so afraid for her, and I couldn't reach her also. And I just lost it and said, get out of my house if you can't be sober, if you're not going to accept help, if you're not going to take this seriously, I'm done. And if you need to go couch surf or be on the street, I can't control that, but I'm actually done. And so
I believed her.
Wow. Yeah, that's, now we're talking boundaries.